Are you having a hard time selling high ticket right now? Listen, then you must listen into this next episode of Seven Figure Sister. Hi, this is your girl, Dr. Avis, your seven figure sister who is helping you be able to elevate and escalate your marketing and your sales in your service based business. And today I am so excited to be able to share with you how you can sell high ticket right now, even in this challenging economy. Now is not the time to run scared. Now is the time to make bank. And let me unpack exactly how you do it. But before I do that, I just want to talk about what is going on right now in the coaching and consulting industries as it relates to navigating this very sort of volatile economy that we're facing. You may have noticed it right now. A lot of service-based entrepreneurs are running scared, right? They're seeing this economy. They're seeing that we're experiencing inflation. They are hearing all the rumblings around a recession that we may or may not be experiencing right now. They're probably seeing all the coverage about the fact that this is a worldwide phenomenon. This is not just something that is only being experienced in the US. And people are clutching their pearls, okay? People are running for cover. And they're doing either one of two things. They are either pulling back altogether and sort of sitting on the sidelines, waiting for things to get better with the economy so that they can re-enter the space. Or they are lowering their prices. They are lowering their prices to the bargain basement level. And they're doing that in an attempt to get sales, any sales. They don't care how low they have to go, as if they're limboing. They just want to be able to make some sales. What if I told you that the answer to this perplexing moment is to do neither one of those things? Boom. What if I told you that there is actually a third way, and there's a way that will allow you not only to sell during this moment, but ultimately to grow and expand during this moment? And what if I told you that I can tell you that because I've experienced explosive growth during economic downturns in the past? In fact, if you're even wondering how I got to be a seven-figure sister, it's because as a multi-six-figure sister, when we started the pandemic and a lot of my competitors were pulling back, they were relegating themselves to the sidelines. They were telling themselves that, my goodness, nobody wants to buy this right now. They want to focus on toilet paper. Y'all might recall the run on toilet paper, no pun intended, right? And so they just kind of took themselves out of the game, or they told themselves, oh my goodness, it's so unethical to sell during a pandemic. I'm not going to sell right now. I'm just going to wait till this thing is over, as if it was going to be over in like 3 days. Here we are years later, and we're still struggling through the umpteenth iteration of COVID, right? So what was the difference between that and those thoughts and those behaviors and what I did, which allowed my business during that first year of COVID to break seven figures in less than 9 months? What happened was I did the precise opposite thing that everyone else was doing. When everyone was leaning out, I was leaning in. When everyone was lowering their prices, I was raising mine. When everyone was afraid to sell, I was selling more. Now, it's not quite that simple, but that is the big 1,000-foot view that I want you to understand is the critical perspective to take in a moment like this. Right now is exactly the wrong time to relegate yourself to the sidelines. Right now is exactly the wrong time to lean out and wait for the economy to improve when you could be making money the entire freaking time. Right now is the wrong time to, I'm going to say it, y'all. I'm going to say it. Lower your prices to the bargain basement level. You are not the dollar store. Shoot, even the dollar store raised their damn prices. Okay. So what I want you to understand, now is not the time to do all of those things. Instead, I really want you to understand how to make money during this unique moment, because this moment, I would argue, is even more unique than what I experienced during the pandemic, and just as potentially fruitful if you do the right things right Now, so what is the right thing? Oftentimes in times of economic retrenchment, people will tell you, and the common thought is, and this is really what I leaned into in terms of the pandemic to make, my first seven figures, right? Is this, uh, when times are hard, people make decisions differently in terms of how they choose to spend their money. They still have money, but they are making different decisions and different calculations around how to spend their money. So in normal times of economic contraction, right, people start to spend in a way in which they are prioritizing their needs over their wants. They specifically think about what they need and they prioritize spending on that versus what they want. And so in normal times of economic retrenchment, I would tell you figure out how to position what you do as a need, right? And not merely a want. But this ain't normal, right? This is not a normal time because honestly, as I survey the land, I'm getting mixed messages. One can say, yeah, hey, there's inflation. Gas prices might be going down, but still the economists are talking about the fact that we still might be going into a recession. I don't know. I'm scared to go out there and price right. Listen, last I checked, airports were full. Last I checked, airline prices were rising. Last I checked, people out here going to concerts, spending boatloads of money, eating out more and more and more, and having these extravagant vacations. None of those things are cheap. None of those things are cheap. People are spending thousands of dollars on the vacations, on the experiences in terms of even concerts, ex Chris Brown, right? People are spending money, honey, each and every day. So it's kind of like, and when I say money, I don't mean small quantities. I mean high ticket level money. Okay. And so what's going on in this moment is that it's not just a mere recession like moment. What's going on right now is that people are responding to coming out of a 2-year lockdown where they've had a lot of restrictions on what they could and couldn't do. And there's a lot of pent up demand, right? That's related to that, which is why people are spending thousands on vacations, on flights all over the world, on, going to VIP experiences and concerts and the like. They're spending that kind of money because of one thing. They don't need any of that. It's not merely a need versus want dynamic, but each and every one of those things is a priority to them. So what I am arguing here is that at this particular moment, it's a little bit more complex than positioning what you do as a need versus a want. Because people are spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on things they don't need, as I've just mentioned. But what you do need to do is position what you do as a priority in their lives. How can you figure out what they really, really prioritize and position what you do as something that will get them there or allow them to experience it, or maybe that thing that you do itself? How can you elevate it into a priority? Why is that important? Because priorities are something that you do now. It's not something that you put off for later. Priorities are something that you are willing to sacrifice for. Priorities are something in which you are willing to make an investment there, even if you have to cut back someplace else. Those are priorities. And especially now, you need to make your business a priority in the minds of your potential consumers. So if you want to know how to do that, I have 3 tips for you that are about inducing prioritization in the positioning of your business. Number 1, you got to lean into the moment. Lean into the moment, okay? Just like the example that I gave you before about how my business grew to its first 7 figures, and since then has made multiple 7 figures, but I hit my first 7 figures in less than 9 months during the pandemic. How did I do that? I leaned into the moment. I didn't fight against the current conditions. I leaned into the current conditions. My messaging at that time was, listen, are you a service-based entrepreneur? Networking, you can't do that. Speaking at live events, you can't do that. Like all of those types of things that were being closed down because of the pandemic, I used that reality. I leaned into the moment and I let them know, hey, now it's more important than ever that you lean into other alternative marketing opportunities like getting into the media in order to get your business out there. And it was that message that drove my business bananas. Okay. I leaned into the moment. Now the moment is a little bit different. People are out. People are experiencing the world again. People are have desires that they want to experience that they haven't been able to experience for a couple of years. How can you position what you do in a way that fits this particular moment? A quick example I can give you is, for example, if you are a DE&I consultant. Just a couple of months ago, there were all these stories about the great resignation and about how millions of people were quitting their jobs. Leaning into that moment would have looked like you positioning what you do to your potential clients as providing them opportunities to be able to retain talent or attract good talent, right? So that they would not be one of those organizations that were on the losing end of that great resignation. Right now, things have shifted a bit in the workplace. Now, a lot of companies are doing the laying off themselves, right? And so instead of leaning into that great resignation like angle, okay, the moment has shifted. The priorities of those businesses have shifted. Now it might not be holding on to their best talent. Now it might be making more money. So in terms of being able to position what you do for this moment, you want to lean into the business case for diversity. If you are a DE&I consultant, how can you make what they do more profitable? So if you're leaning into the business case, you might say, hey, how can you learn how to tap into new markets by becoming more culturally aware of those markets and those things that they desire and their concerns and their needs? How can I expand your market share in these various different populations that maybe you have not been maximizing before because the focus of your company has not been diverse enough to really understand how to do that? Now you're talking to the bottom line of that company. It's a completely different conversation and it leans into the current moment. Whatever you do, I want you to think about how can you position what you do in a way that it leans into this current unique moment that we are experiencing right now. And that in and of itself will make what you do a priority of either that individual, if it's a B2C business, or that organization, if it's a B2B business. Secondly, I want you to up-level your presence. Up-level your presence. You are actually lucky right now in that in moments like this, people get scared, okay? People start leaning out, as I alluded to previously. People start waiting on the sidelines. People stop marketing. Guess what? That leaves an open lane for you. It's a moment like this where you can really go all in, elevate your presence, elevate your brand, and become that best known entity in your space because the other people have sidelined themselves. This was another tactic that I utilized during the pandemic to accelerate my business. When everybody else was scared, I was out there hustling. I was elevating my presence. I was being seen more on social media, in the traditional media, in all these different spaces so that I became known as that particular coach that can help you monetize media for the bottom line of your business. All right. And so it really helped to elevate my brand, not just because my messaging was right, but also because a lot of my competitors had taken themselves out of the game. And that allowed me the opportunity to be known as the it girl in this space. You can do the same thing. Take advantage of the nerves of your competitors, okay? And instead of leaning out, lean in. Instead of being quiet, be loud. Take this opportunity to dominate your industry. Make it impossible for your people not to know that you exist. Just like I tell my clients each and every day, each day, more people have to know you today than knew you yesterday. That is your job. As the CEO of your business, you need to make sure that your visibility is on point. So that means going out there, elevating your presence, escalating your presence, diversifying your presence in various different ways so that you are the natural choice for those individuals who I guarantee you right now not only are still looking for you and what you have to offer, they likely need what you have to offer even more than ever in this critical moment. Elevate yourself so you can be found. Number 3, price confidently. Price confidently. Oh my goodness. So many people right now, you may have noticed the trend. They are only offering low ticket offers right now. They are lowballing themselves right now. And what I want you to know is there is still a high ticket market that exists. I recently started a study that said that right now, luxury purchases are spiking. Okay. People that purchase luxury items are buying more right now in this moment when other people are pulling back. So that tells me that luxury buyer still exists. That person that wants the top notch, high quality experience still exists. That person that wants their issue or their problem, their need addressed right the first time, they still exist and they're willing to pay for it. So instead of dumbing down your prices, dimming your light, getting yourself in that bloody ocean of everybody that's selling everything for next to nothing, instead, I want you to elevate yourself above the fray. Really lean in on your positioning as a badass entrepreneur that you are, someone that offers top-notch results, and then market like a laser to that high ticket buyer that is out there right now looking for you. It's that simple. You don't need to lower your price. What you do is you need to uplevel your positioning, you need to uplevel your presence, and you need to make sure you are speaking to their specific needs right now so you will become the priority. When you do all of those things, this is not a moment in which your bottom line should be going down. Quite the contrary. This is the moment where your business can blow all the way up. I know it to be fact. I've been there. I've done that. And not just me. I've had clients that have been killing it in this economy. Just a week ago, I had a client who had a $50,000+ day. Right before her, I had another one that had over $40,000 in sales in 14 days. And right before her, I had another one that had another $50,000 day. These are happening all in this inflation-ridden economy. We're talking about consultants here. We're talking about coaches here. There is plenty of opportunity out there. People are still writing these big ass checks. It's time for you to go get yours. So with that said, I have a mission for you if you choose to accept it. I want you to @ me on Instagram, at Dr. Avis Mentoring, and take a screenshot of this podcast, either the image, if you're seeing the image, or maybe even a screenshot from the video portrayal of this podcast. And then put it in your stories and let me know which one of these tips are you going to lean into first. Are you going to up-level your presence? Are you going to go all in and do even more in terms of your marketing? Are you going to diversify your marketing? Are you going to make sure that you dominate your space? Are you going to be sure that you lean into the moment with your messaging so that you're speaking to the needs of your potential clients even more clearly? Or are you going to price confidently? Are you saying that you're not scared? You're not going to lower your prices. In fact, you might decide you want to raise your prices for those who know they want the luxury Chanel experience. Let me know which one of these tips you're going to lean into first and foremost, or if you're going to go for the clean sweep and do them all, let me know. I want to be able to cheer you on. With that said, until next time, I cannot wait to hear about all the cha-ching you're going to manifest in your business by not running scared at this moment, but instead leaning in and making that money. See you next time.